wanting to do that for such a long time. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. INCS on MMA, and we are bringing you UFC 300.
Woo! Woo!
Oh my gosh, Sheldon, take us straight into this card.
Oh, dude. I don't even need to say much. It's UFC 300. It is possibly the most stacked card I have ever seen. We've got former champs on the early prelims. We've got multiple former champs on the normal prelims. There are so many crazy fights on this card. So let's start off with the main event, the main reason we're here, Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill for the light heavyweight title.
Oof. Now, if you look at this one is particularly interesting because Alex Pereira is one of the most high-class strikers in the world right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
He is the 2-weight class glory champion and now a 2-weight class UFC champion, which puts him up there as one of the greatest combat sports athletes ever. He just recently knocked out Jiří Procházka, but now he's going up against a really seasoned striker in Jamahal Hill.
So one thing I'm noticing is Jamahal Hill is talking all this stuff about, he's just going on about the narrative with the boxing and the hands and all this. I've got a weird feeling that he might just try to take him down.
Alex?
Yeah. I think, as you saw in the Glover fight, Jamahal Hill on his back and on the ground was a lot better than people thought he was going to be. He was getting out of sticky situations. And someone suggested to me that he might just be running this narrative because he's going to shoot for a takedown.
Immediately.
Or, I wouldn't say immediately, but I feel like there's going to be a point where he's just going to sit on top of Alex. And just, you know?
That's interesting because if we look at Jamahal Hill's career, he has mainly been a boxer, stand-up guy. A lot of beautiful KOs like that knockout of Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
The work that he did on Glover Teixeira. But when he has gone to the ground, specifically if you look at his fight against Paul Craig, he gets his arm snapped if he ends up in submission positions.
No, very true. But you got to remember the Paul Craig fight happened before Glover. And I personally think Glover's way more experienced on the ground.
That's true.
Besides being old. But look, that's just a theory. Let's be real. If this stays on the feet, someone's getting knocked out. And I think it's just going to... Look, Jamahal Hill's got power. There's no doubt about that. And his boxing is clean. And his boxing is good. But I think Alex Pereira's just mindset, and he's just a naturally sturdy... He's literally just like a walking tree. He's just sturdy, bro.
He's built for this.
Yeah. And you can never forget the power of that left hook from Alex Pereira. It's just one of the most dangerous things in the sports at the moment. So... it's a tough one, dude. But I think everyone was whining about this fight. I think it's going to put on a great show.
And now going on to our co-main, we have a very, very, very interesting women's strawweight title bout.
Yeah, don't be sleeping on this fight.
Do not be sleeping on this at all. This one's huge for China.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, we've got a Chinese champion versus a Chinese #1 contender in Zhang Weili versus Yan Xiaonan. Now, this one is particularly interesting because with Zhang Weili, we have noticed a really balanced skill set.
Oh, yeah.
Especially over these last few fights. When she started, we saw a really solid stand-up base that you saw in her fights against Jessica Andrade, her fights against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. But most recently, her submission game has really come into its own. Specifically in her last fight against Carla Esparza, when she choked her out with that weird modified rear naked choke with the one arm grab. But let's not forget how dangerous Yan Xiaonan is.
Oh, yeah.
And the amount of people that she has defeated with a very, very technical striking style that has led her to a lot of really, really impressive decision victories.
Like you said, look, she's coming off of wins against Jessica Andrade and Mackenzie Dern, which is no easy feat.
Not at all.
And, yeah, look, I think these are both extremely powerful women. And their stand-up is great. Like you said with Weili, I think every fight with her, she just improves.
Yeah.
Every fight that she does, she just goes back to the drawing board, watches the fight, and she improves in some way. And she just keeps getting better and better. And, hey, man, I think it's going to be a great fight where, like, these are two women where they don't back down.
Yeah.
You know, they don't flinch.
100%.
They are going to swing for the fences, and I think it's just going to be an absolutely great fight, dude.
Title.
What's up, New York? How are ya?
This is for the baddest in the game.
Woo! The most random belt to ever be made, but goddamn it, does it make for some crazy fights. We got Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway for the BMF belts. I call him that because have you seen photos of Maximum Holloway? This dude is huge. This man is jacked for the lightweight. I'm so excited for this fight, dude.
So this one is probably gonna be fight of the night. I think there's no chance that any other fight is gonna be fight of the night. I mean, guys, we know exactly what this is. Justin Gaethje, one of the most dangerous guys in the lightweight division, probably the most exciting fighter in history.
Yeah,
probably he has the most fight of the night finishes of anyone else in the lightweight division right now. He's going up against Max Holloway, former champion. Max Holloway is kind of like if you guys have seen Afro Samurai, there's that dude who had the #1 headband. Oh, yeah. Max Holloway has the #1 headband. You have to beat him to fight Alex Volkanovski, and nobody can beat him. Yeah. And like with Ilia Topuria, they eventually just went, nah, just give him Volk.
Just skip Max.
We can't let this shit happen again. The last time Max Holloway went up to lightweight, he didn't gain any weight.
Yeah, he took it very casually.
And he got bullied by Dustin Poirier subsequently. It was still a close fight, but the strength difference made it.
True, but this time, if you've seen the photos, you've seen what he's been posting on the lead up to this fight, he is looking so big compared to what he usually looks like. He's going to be... Most people were expecting him to stand across Gaethje with that sort of scrawny little... Like, not... You know what I mean? Like, he's got that little scrawny build. He's obviously insanely strong and shredded, but like, just... He never had that physique. Now he's got that like definitive physique of just like, I am in shape and I'm taking this seriously. And I feel like it's been a while since we've seen Max Holloway take something this seriously. You know what I mean? Like for him to go up to lightweight and be like, no, I'm going to do this properly. I'm not going to half-ass it. And he's had all these fights against Volk where he just keeps losing. I think he's just keen to just start a new page. You know?
Yeah, an exciting new challenge.
And for him, I think having motivation, it makes him one of the most dangerous people like in the sport. But good luck trying to knock out Justin Gaethje. That's all I have to say.
Exactly.
Good luck.
If we talk specifically about knocking out Justin Gaethje, the only people who have done that are Eddie Alvarez, the Demolition Man, and Dustin Poirier, the guy who just got knocked out by Justin Gaethje via head kick.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's that. Hey, Charlie Olives, he choked him out.
Charlie submitted him, yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Olives choked him. Those are the only two people who have finished him.
It's crazy.
And the strike rate of Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway, this is going to be a 1,000-punch fight, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is going to be an 1,000-punch fight.
So many fighters have said Justin Gaethje kicks so hard. Like, just naturally, when he kicks you, it feels like someone's just taking a bat to your leg.
Yeah.
Like, dude, so much power. But then Max Holloway, so much skill and technique and just masterclass with the hands. Oh, my gosh. It's already fight of the night, dude.
Next up on our card, we have a lightweight bout between former champion Charles Oliveira against Arman Tsarukyan. Mm-hmm. Now, this one is a really, really, really interesting matchup, okay? Arman Tsarukyan has recently lit up in the lightweight division, okay? His only two losses are to Matus Gamrot and the champion, Islam Makhachev. Very similarly to Islam Makhachev, he has a really solid wrestling base and great hands and stand-up. He just recently knocked out Beneil Dariush via a knee kind of straight combination.
It was weird, yeah.
That was like... so this guy he's really, really, really on a streak, but he's going up against a killer. Like, he's going up against a murderer in Charlie Olives.
Yeah, look, I could talk about this fight for hours. I found this fight to be very interesting, mainly because, look, Matus Gamrot absolutely destroyed. Okay, not destroyed, but he beat Arman. It was a unanimous. It was fair. Like when I watched the fight, I was like, Matus won this. Yeah. And then Beneil Dariush made Matus Gamrot look like an amateur in his fights. Like, and he completely made him look like an amateur. So, and then now Arman comes along. And then he beats Dariush. And now I've always just had this thought, like, that was a lucky shot, dude. I'm going to stick by it.
Wow.
I think that was a lucky shot because what Beneil did to Matus Gamrot and then what Matus did to Arman, yes, look, he's come a long way from that fight. Don't get me wrong. Everyone improves. But I think that Dariush fight, you got a lucky shot. And I don't think he's actually going to put on that good of a performance against Charlie Olive.
Okay, one thing I have to question, though. And I'm with you on this.
Yeah.
All right. What if Beneil Dariush's chin was still compromised from Charlie Olive's knocking it straight off of his head?
Fair. And let's be real, Dariush is getting older. You can see the grey hair coming in.
And he's had wars. Watch his fight against Drakkar Klose.
Oh, I love that fight. So there's a lot to take into consideration. And Arman, after his loss, went on like a 3-fight win streak, including Beneil. Look, there's a lot. After watching those fights back to back, I'm just like, I don't think he's going to bring as much as people think he is to the table. He's still going to be an extremely dangerous
He's still
opponent.
going to be a killer.
You can always still win the fight. There's always that option. But Charlie Olive is the most level-headed, just, I know what I'm doing in this cage more than you. You know? And also, I think Arman might fall for his, when Charles does his whole, I'm injured. Let me fall on my back. Yeah. I think Arman might fall for that trap, eh?
Just dive straight in.
I think he might be not level-headed, and he might be like, I need this. And then once you go down on the ground with Charles, those damn limbs, dude, it's like a spider.
Yeah, unless you've got Nurmagomedov blood. It's not a good place. It's not a good place.
Yeah, so I think it's still going to be a great fight, but I'm backing my boy Charlie Olive all the way, bro. I think he's just too good. And I personally think in a rematch against Islam, he's going to put on a much better show.
And now our first fight in this main card is the Prodigy, Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. He's not really called the Prodigy. That's just me. But I added
to
that.
To Dana, he's the prodigy of money. So.
So now this one is, on paper, it looks like Bo Nickel is just here to beat the shit out of Cody Brundage.
It's a 10 to 1 odds.
The odds are 10 to 1. The odds are 10 to 1. Okay. Cody Brundage recently destroyed one of my parlays. His last opponent that he forced, he slammed him straight on the ground and lost me so much money. It is crazy. Cody Brundage is coming off of that slam KO. Cody Brundage is game. That's the thing. He's always so game.
Yeah.
But he makes terrible decisions in the cage.
Yeah.
Like Cody Brundage, he's got everything in terms of what you need to make a fighter. He's got heart, he's got a chin, he's got ground skills, he's got stand-up, but his fight IQ is really minimal.
Yeah. And I feel against Bo Nickel, who, let's be real, he's obviously got some IQ to get where he is and to have the accolades in terms of wrestling that he does. So, look, I definitely feel like the odds are in his favor for a reason, but I definitely feel, look, Cody can definitely do something and win this fight unexpectedly and, like, case in point, slam Bo on his head. But at the same time, I feel if Cody makes one of those stupid mistakes, Bo Nickel's just going to pounce on him and just take it.
So, real quick, I just want to talk about main card parlays, all right?
Yeah, let's do this, bro.
So, I would put a 3-fight parlay on Bo Nickel, Charlie Olives, and Zhang Weili.
I think if you want to play it safe, I think yes. I fully agree with that. However, if complete like full picks for the main card, I think Bo Nickel, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Zhang Weili, and then I rate Alex is going to take it, dude.
Oh,
telling you, Alex is going to take it. Those are my picks. I think this is a card where you can make the argument of, you can look into this card. There's so much depth. There's so much going on. I think we can look at it pretty simply, but I think as good as Max is, Justin hits too hard. And I think, there's just too much, bro. There's too much, but look, those are my picks. Bo Nickel, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Weili, and Alex Pereira.
Yeah, I think if you're wanting to be a little bit cheeky and you want to get a little bit of value out of this, I think maybe a cheeky little bet would be Max Holloway via decision.
Oh, yeah.
I think you would get some value on a Max Holloway via decision.
Definitely.
And then you could get some value on Charlie Olives via finish.
Yeah.
KO and sub.
That's so true because, you know what? The KO is even more difficult because every time he drops people, he goes for the submission anyways.
Yep.
So to get him on a KO is something else, dude.
So you got to get him via finish. Okay, moving on to our prelims. Our headlining prelim fight. This blows my mind.
Yeah,
okay?
first off, fuck you, Bo Nickel, because Yuri was on the main card, and now all of a sudden he's not for the stop for fucking Dana's new cash cow. And he's lucky Yuri's such a nice guy who would just be like, yeah, no, it's fine. As long as I fight, I'm happy. But yeah, carry on. Sorry, I just had to say that.
On the prelims, we have 3 former champions and 1 Bellator and PFL champion.
Dude,
Like, this is ridiculous. We have Jiří Procházka versus Aleksandar Rakić, Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling, and Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. This is stupid. On the prelims.
It's the greatest card that they've ever done, bro. Just in terms of quantity. It is so good. Straight off the bat, the main event for the prelims, Jiří Procházka versus Aleksandar Rakić, light heavyweight bouts. Now, Jiří Procházka coming off a loss against Alex for the title. Aleksandar Rakić is coming off, it's definitely been over a year.
Yeah, he's coming off of that horrible leg injury
against Yan that was, like almost a year and a half ago. Oh. Now, he's been off for a while, and leg injuries are not some of the nicest things to come back from. And, it's been, like I said, it's been quite a while, so he's coming back, but he's got such a challenge in the form of one of my personal favorite fighters, Jiří Procházka. He hits hard, and he's got such a unique style, and his fight against Glover is one of the most heart attack-inducing fights I have ever watched. Is it like it's just 5 rounds of, he's about to get the finish. Oh, no, he's about to get the finish. No, he's about to get the finish. But I think for Rakić, this is an insanely tough challenge. But that being said, overcoming it is definitely, puts you back in title contention. You're right up there straight away.
Exactly. Jiří Procházka was the injection of talent that the UFC light heavyweight division needed.
So true.
John Jones and DC, their dominance had made the division stale. And Jiří just started coming in, knocking dudes out cold.
It was Jiří and Yan. When Yan went on his tear, and then Jiří came in, the both of them were just fucking stirring the pot for us.
They really they redefined the idea of the light heavyweight division and brought shine back to it. Now, we got to think here that this is a chin-up fight for Jiří Procházka.
Yep.
This seems like the UFC is setting this up because this guy, he brings so many seats in terms of the European crowd. He's so interesting, he's so exciting, and he's so different. He's such a character.
Yeah.
He's setting him up with somebody who hasn't fought in a while, who was good, but not necessarily great.
Yeah.
Never fought against like super hectic dudes.
He was getting there, yeah.
He was getting there, he was on the way. So this is an opportunity. Yuri's also, he's been more active recently. This is basically set up for him to win. And I think Rakić definitely knows this, but he took this opportunity because he knows that if he wins this fight, he's going to, it's going to shoot him straight up into that title picture.
I definitely think, look, for both guys, actually, a win is huge in terms of light heavyweight division. Alexander hasn't fought anyone in the new top 5 because he just got back. So it sets him up with all those fights. Jiří, he could easily call for a rematch against Alex, and if Jamahal Hill wins, they were supposed to fight, and there's still the story there. So for both of these guys, a win is huge, and I think they're going to be coming for blood, bro.
Yeah, I think the odds makers have this one wrong too, because right now we've got Jiří only as a plus 110.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rakić is only minus 130 as an underdog. So I'm like, I don't get that. Do you know what I'm saying? I would really think that Jiří Procházka, being the ex-champion,
but I think everything he's that he's coming done off a loss.
I just I don't fully agree.
The
odds makers here. I think there's some action here. Some action here.
But moving on, we've got another really crazy fight with a former champion. Aljamain Sterling is making his featherweight debut against Calvin Kattar. Now, first off, I think this is a great fight for him to come into the featherweight division and be like, hey, I'm here to make an impact and make a difference.
Straight up.
It's definitely a great fight to take. Yeah, look, Calvin Kattar is a great boxer. He's got some of the best hands in the UFC. Yes, Max Holloway made him look like shit, but that's because it's Max.
Yeah.
And Aljamain Sterling, look, I've been reading some of the stuff he's saying, and I feel like because he got KO'd so easily against Sean, he's got a chip on his shoulder and he's got a point to prove. And I think he's going to stay on the hands. And I think going up a weight class against a man who people underestimate how dangerous Calvin Kattar's hands are. I'm scared for Ojo, dude. I think he should play it safe and just do his backpack, bro. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, if Aljo takes it to the ground, he's definitely got an advantage in this fight. But we know that he's chinny. He has been knocked out more than once.
And he's got a point to prove.
And he's going up against somebody who is bigger. Aljo was a big bantamweight, but he was still a bantamweight.
Yes, he was a big bantamweight, dude.
He's going up against somebody who's bigger, somebody who does strike better than he does. And he just recently got knocked out by a guy who has good hands. So it's not looking good for my brother Aljo.
That's just going to be a great one, dude. Oh.
And now onto one of our featured women's bantamweight bouts in our prelims. Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. This one is ridiculous. Guys, there's something that we need to talk about here, okay? Kayla Harrison fought at 155 in the PFL.
Yep.
All right? She's coming off a loss by Larissa Pacheco, who is a beast.
Yeah.
But she did beat Larissa Pacheco before.
Yeah. Larissa had to like go sit in a dark room and like battle her demons just to like, you know, like, no, she was like, she had to like design herself to beat Kayla, you know?
Exactly. Kayla Harrison, she has an even more impressive judo lineage and history than Ronda Rousey. She's bigger than Ronda Rousey.
Oh, yeah.
She is a killer. And she's going up against Holly Holm. I think that's the whole story that they're trying to create, is that Kayla Harrison hasn't gone up against strikers of UFC caliber. Yeah. Holly Holm was the one who knocked out Ronda Rousey first. Yeah. Now we're going to put the judo girl up against Holly Holm again. I worry about the ground game, but even more than that, I don't even think Kayla's going to make weight.
First off, the big thing is Kayla needs to make weight for this fight to fucking happen. Which, I mean, look, UFC, they always try to do things a lot better and have better facilities and all that fun stuff. But for Kayla Harrison to drop that much weight, it's so difficult.
20 pounds.
Let's see if she can do it. And if she can do it, I am terrified for Holly Holm because let's be real. On fight night, Kayla Harrison is going to eat like 4 chickens and like a full cake on the side. She's going to come in huge. And Holly Holm's last fight, in my opinion, she did not look that good. She did not look great. She was looking a bit slow. She was getting pieced up. And it's just, I don't see a lot of power.
And she got choked out by somebody who just got beat up.
Yeah. And it's just, I see a lot of lack of power in Holly Holm. And Kayla Harrison, in terms of clinch, I feel like if Kayla gets her in the clinch, she's just going to own it. You know, she's going to throw her around. She can just do what she wants. Every time if Holly lands a mean strike, Kayla's just going to go straight to the clinch and just, you know, and just overpower her.
Yeah, armbar, rear naked choke. I just.
But she needs to make weight.
I do not understand how. So she used to fight at 155, which means she cut.
Yeah.
To 155, which means she could have been walking around 165, 170.
170. Yo!
Right? And now she's going to fight at 135. So if she's walking around 170, and now she's going to fight 135, 35 pounds she has to lose. That's like 18 kilograms.
Yeah, dude. This is insane.
18 kgs she has to cut for this fight. That is absurd.
We just got to wait and see, bro. We just got to wait and see.
There you go. Okay, moving on to our early prelims, which are going to start us off tonight. Jalen Turner is going up against Renato Moicano. Very, very interesting one. I think it's a bad fight for Renato.
Yep.
Jalen Turner, the tarantula.
Great fight for him. He
has got wicked stand-up. He just recently committed a homicide against Bobby Green. He also has a really, really, really legit submission game. I wouldn't think it's as good as Renato Moicano's submission game, but I think it's good enough to not get caught in Renato Moicano's submission game.
Oh, I can agree with that, yeah.
And Moicano is chinny. We've seen it time and time again. He's chinny. So I don't see this one working out well for Money Moicano.
So I agree with you there. However, one just variable I want to throw out there is Jalen Turner is coming off of that loss against Dan Hooker, where basically for the whole first round, Jalen beat the shit out of Dan. But Dan showed that Dan Hooker's more sturdy than Moicano. He's definitely got a sturdier chin. But by the end of that second round, or at least halfway through, Jalen Turner was looking tired, dude.
Yeah.
And Jalen Turner in his UFC fights has mostly been first round finishes, early stoppages. So Dan Hooker kind of showed that in the second and the third, when Jalen puts on a scrap, he gets tired. And hey, look, Moicano's the type of guy who definitely has a gas tank. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. 3 rounds for him is chilled. But again, he doesn't have a chin like Dan. And Jalen Turner is... Like, that fight still showed he beat the shit out of Dan Hooker. Like, he was beating the crap out of him. So, yeah, I think it's a good fight for Jalen Turner. I just need... Hopefully, he's worked on his cardio. And hopefully, he finishes in the first.
There you go.
Yeah.
And moving on to our women's strawweight bout, we have Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Now, this one is Marina Rodriguez. She's Brazilian. So this one is particularly interesting because of how evenly matched up these two women are. Okay, we've got Jessica Andrade, who's recently been on a great streak at strawweight. It's her new weight class. She's been knocking girls out.
Her last fight, she looked so good.
Oh, yeah. I think she's just got so much of a power advantage over these girls now that she's gone down to strawweight. At bantamweight, the girls were the women were a little bit taller than her, so it got a little bit tricky for her to get into range and everything. Marina Rodriguez though has some sick stand-up. She has some incredible boxing skills as well, and she's a very exciting fighter. It's number 5 versus number 6 in this one, and the odds are completely even at -110 both sides.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a fight where it can go either way. Either, the young blood's going to come and take it with their hands, or Jessica Andrade is just going to show everyone that I'm just too good at this sport. But, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole. I'm not betting on any part of that fight. No, thank you.
I did. It was a mistake. I regret it. But moving on, we've got 2 more fights that I personally think are just a great way to start this whole event. Okay, first off, we got Bobby Green versus Jim fucking Miller. The only man who's fought on UFC 100, UFC 200, and will now fight on UFC 300. This man is going to make history. And honestly, this fight it's him versus Bobby Green. It's 2 guys who've been doing this a long time. They just love to fight and they love to get paid to put on a show.
Yeah.
Bobby Green's a bit... Lately, he's been win, lose. Jim Miller went on a 3-fight win streak, lost to Alexander Hernandez, and is now on a 2-fight win streak. He's been looking pretty good in his old age. This might actually be his retirement fight, like, let's be real. But I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to have fun with this one, dude.
That's true. Jim Miller has recently looked like a killer. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Prior to that, he did get a loss, but then he was on a 3-fight win streak before then. Both of these guys are really having career renaissances.
Yeah.
Bobby Green, sadly, though, he was recently... I don't even know how to describe it, man. Yeah. Jalen Turner beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh, my gosh. That was some really poor refereeing.
Oh, it was terrible.
As well. But right now, they have Bobby Green as the favorite in this fight at -205.
It's interesting.
And Jim Miller, slight favorite. Jim Miller is the underdog at +170. I think the submission game, Jim Miller has it. Stand up, Bobby Green has it. It's just going to be a matter of, is Bobby Green going to respect Jim Miller's hands?
Yeah.
Because that's another problem that Bobby Green has, is he never respects the hands of his opponent. That's why he got dominated by Jalen Turner.
He puts his hands low and he just fights this casual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works. Like, for example, in the previous main event that he had against that new guy, whose name defeats me, because they tried to hype him up and Bobby Green knocked him out in like 25 seconds.
Yes.
So sometimes it works against fighters like that, where they can't see where the strikes are coming from. But then against guys like Jalen Turner, it just got him rocked and KO'd. Yeah. And Jim Miller, he does have a solid right hand. He has knocked people out. But more than anything, what he has is he does that overhand and then he grabs the guillotine whilst you're stunned.
Yeah.
And he takes a lot of guys out with that one. So this is an interesting one. If you're looking for a bit of action, maybe put down Jim Miller via submission.
And starting us off on this whole event, we have 2 former champs. Cody Garbrandt is welcoming Davison Figueiredo to the bantamweight division.
No, he's not welcoming. This is the second.
Oh, it is the second. I forget he beat the shit out of Rob Font, hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beat the shit out of... He beat him.
Look, I think this is a good fight. I think Cody Garbrandt was looking really good in his last fight. Before that, he was on that terrible, just downhill streak of just loss after loss after loss.
Yeah,
his chin was looking bad, but he looked really good in his last fight. Davison Figueiredo, like I said, he had his first bantamweight fight against Rob Font, and now he's having against Cody. I think it's a great fight for him. I think it's just gonna come down to, is Cody's chin gonna be able to handle Deiveson Figueiredo's fist? Because let's be real, that dude punches really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And Cody's chin has not been looking good the last couple of fights.
Yeah. I think Cody's kind of renaissance in the bantamweight division has come largely from the fact that he's finally using all of his tools.
That's true.
He's wrestling, he's throwing kicks, and he's throwing the punches that we know him for. Before, he was so resilient on his hands and his head movement.
So resilient. That's so true.
It kind of put him in a lot of really bad positions in the division and kind of led to a large part of his decline. That chin, I'm worried about it. I think his chin is compromised forever.
Yeah.
Deiveson Figueiredo, he looked good at bantamweight. He looked good at flyweight.
Yeah.
Deiveson Figueiredo is still relatively, how do I put it? I think he's still got a lot more in the tank than Cody Garbrandt has.
100%.
In terms of where he could go. Deiveson Figueiredo could keep fighting and become a bantamweight champion.
Yes.
He does have the skill set. So I think this one is a little bit of a mismatch for Cody Garbrandt. So guys, that is UFC 300. The greatest card to ever be assembled.
Oh my gosh.
I want to thank you guys for watching this video with us. Like and subscribe. We are going to be back with more UFC this year.
Yes.
INTS on MMA. Signing out.
Woo!